Good morning, everybody, and good early afternoon on the East Coast for all of our friends back there. We're going to get started right now on our telephone entry system web training today, technology training. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, my name's Troy Barron. I'm actually the National Sales Manager here for Channel Vision Technology. Just a little background about me. I've been in the industry for about 15 years or so. I've worked both in the custom retail division for audio-video products, as well as working for distribution partners, as well as working for the manufacturer. So in the 15 years I've been here, I've seen a handful of different things, and we'll certainly be able to lead you through today's training and answer all the questions that you may have. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Channel Vision, it's actually our 20th anniversary this year. Yes, if you can believe it or not, Channel Vision has been in business for 20 years now, and over those 20 years has grown immensely. We're one of the larger structure wired manufacturers in North America, as well as carrying a full line of IR and plasma-proof products for control systems, including our ARIA high-performance audio systems and our high-performance audio speaker line, as well as being a licensed manufacturer of A-bus technology for audio and power over Cat5, as well as intercom and telephone entry systems, which we'll be talking about today, as well as being a very sought-after manufacturer for our surveillance solutions and some of Channel Vision's exclusive technology. So you can see that over the course of 20 years, we've grown to fulfill any need for the well-connected home. Now, with that being said, today's training, we're going to get into a few things specifically. We're going to go over room-to-room communications. We're going to talk about how you can do room-to-room communication with one of our intercom options. We're also going to expand that to our telephone entry system as well, and we're going to look at 3 different options to fit any budget for any install. We're also going to talk to you about how you can integrate basic access control options as an enhanced feature for some of your customers, and we're going to get into some applications about how you can integrate this with your home automation system so you can make even more money on those existing installs that you're already doing. Now, we're going to jump into the telephone entry system right here. Now, before I get too deep into that, if you guys do have any questions, there will be a box that you can type all your questions into on the right-hand side of your screen. We can utilize that box since everybody doesn't necessarily have microphones and a variety of different people are in the system on a different avenue. This will ensure we'll be able to get all your questions answered. In the unlikely event we can't cover all the questions due to time constraints, we will certainly follow up with you personally afterwards to ensure that you get all of your questions answered. So now when we're talking about telephone entry and intercom systems, it's a matter of how you're going to present it to your customer. Because if you ask a customer, do you want an intercom, it might not get the, yes, sure, I'll sell it to me. You might have to pose a different question. How would you like to be able to answer the door from your couch? Or see who's there before getting up? Or let someone in from any phone inside the house be able to open your door? Or have caller ID at your front door for a very little additional cost? These are all positions in which you can present techniques to your customers about how you can add an intercom system to make them think about ways that they could use it. With that being said, let's take a look at some of the features of our telephone entry product. As a general overview of the telephone entry product line, the good news is that you're not going to require any special phones. So there's no fancy KSU systems, no expensive phones. These will work with your plain old simple telephones that you can pick up at your local electronics store. The telephone entry system will offer you hands-free, two-way communication between the front door and any phone in your house. It will also provide a distinctive ring so that you know it's somebody at the front door and not just a traditional phone ringing. In the event that you're on the phone when somebody presses the doorbell, it will act just like call waiting and integrate seamlessly. We'll have a handful of options when it comes to your door stations, which we'll take a look at in a little bit, and also give you the option to add a door strike relay. Now, the good news here is we'll take through this in about 45 minutes. Try to keep it short so you guys can get on with your day. So we're going to start with the 3 different options on our telephone entry system. We'll have an economy version that we'll look at, which will provide you a low-cost solution. We'll look at the single door option that's going to have a handful of additional features. and then options for you could expand it to 2 or even up to 4 doors applications. The first economy module that we're going to look at here is our TE111. Now this is a new product from Channel Vision, recently released, and this is a telephone entry controller. This will allow you to communicate from the front door to any phone in the house. It will also provide a distinctive ring, and it will also allow you to add a door strike relay. The caveat with this specific product is it does require that you have an active phone line, which means your customer does need to have phone service in the house in order to use this system. However, this low-cost option makes it a viable solution for anybody that has an existing phone line and wants to be able to communicate to the front door. And that's our TE111. Our more popular model is our P0920. This is one of our main boards for our telephone entry systems, and this unit does not require an active phone. So it doesn't matter if you have phone service or not. You can use the P0920. In addition to that, you can choose your ring cycle and have it ring 3 or 5 times with a distinctive ring pattern. In addition to that, you can configure the system for pound or star command. Not star command like Buzz Lightyear, but star command like *7 to open your door. In addition to that, you can define the time duration of your relay for your door strike to remain open anywhere from 3 seconds all the way up to 4 minutes, so that you can let a vehicle pass or allow a little bit extra time to get through the door. Both of these units can be mounted inside of our Channel Vision's enclosures or rack mount options. They are going to use a simple screw termination, so there's no complicated installation required here. The removable Phoenix connector makes it super easy to install a wire without having to be bent over, hiding in the attic, trying to place the products. Really easy dip switch configuration to define your setup. And in addition to that, we'll have a manual door strike activation, which we'll get into in a little bit, as well as a chime activation feature and the RJ45 option. All of these which we'll take a look at in a moment. So if you were to take a closer look at the P0920 connections, it would look something like this. And you'll see here that you have a handful of different inputs. It's fairly simple to begin. Simply plug in your main phone line from the street and then distribute it out to the phones in the rest of your house or your phone distribution block. You'll have the ability to connect your intercom station for the front door to the intercom terminal and connect a doorbell to the chime relay so that you can continue to play your fancy doorbell in addition to having the phone rings in the house. And you also have a manual door strike release. And we'll take a closer look at each of these features in just a moment. To begin connecting your system, simply have your main 2 wires connected from your intercom. This is another beautiful feature of the Channel Vision telephone entry system. Anybody that has a doorbell, you can sell an intercom to. Simply using the 2 conductors that are running from the front door back to the main controller, you're halfway done. Next, ensure that the CO line from your phone company gets plugged into the CO terminal on the P0920. Out from the 920 to your distribution block will then ring the rest of the phones in your house. Alternatively, if you're a bigger fan of using RJ45s, you can do that as well. Same connection, bridge connections, provide the same functionality, just giving you the option to do whatever suits your application best. Now there's a couple other additional items that you should consider when doing a telephone entry system, such as our phone surge protector. Now this isn't your every average run-of-the-mill surge protector. This specific unit here is a 4-line surge protector, and it's also UL and CSA approved. In addition to that, it's going to protect against lightning surges and lightning A and B surges, and it also has a self-healing fuse, which means it's the Wolverine of surge protectors. In the event that it does take a surge, it will regenerate itself, self-healing, and be able to continue being used without having to throw it out. This is almost a must product for anybody not in California because, well, it doesn't rain that much in California. But certainly something that you guys should take a look at. And as some added bonuses, this unit also has a built-in DSL filter so that you can have your main DSL filter at the head end instead of at every single phone jack. In addition to that, it also has an RJ31X, so you can integrate it with your alarm system as well. And if you're going to apply this to the P0920, simply put it in front where your phone line comes in before it goes to the P0920, and you're set to go. Now you might be thinking, okay, Troy, you've talked a lot about plain old telephones, but what in the event if I have a voice over IP system? Maybe I'm using Vonage. Maybe I'm using the cable provider as my phone. But you know what? Maybe you're like many of the millions of Americans out there who don't even have phones. We're just utilizing our cell phones. Well, the good news is you can still use this product in that application. All you need is a phone, just a regular plain old telephone. You can continue to use the 2 wires that are inside your house for your existing doorbell, from your front door intercom to the controller, and then just flip the switch to no CO mode. The P0920's no CO mode will allow you to generate a ring without having an active phone service or a phone line at all. As long as the physical phone line infrastructure inside the house is intact, you'll be able to use the phones just as if you had a phone service provider. So that should give you a fairly good overview of the P0920. Now let's take a look at some of your door station options. One of the unique things about Channel Vision's intercom system is that we have a variety of different colors to match any of your customers' door hardware. All of our units here are available in 8 different colors and essentially 3 different sizes. So you can match it to your customer's hardware and ensure that you're going to give a high-end residential install that will match your customer's decor. In addition to having the oversized unit that you see here, we have an additional size option available as well. The door stations come in 2 styles primarily. You have the DP version, which is a larger 6.5 by 4 3/8 size, so slightly larger than a 2-gang box and a little bit taller. Alternatively, you also have the single gang application, which is a flush mount intercom which will fit in any single gang low voltage box. Other than that, there's not a great deal of difference between the 2 except for size and aesthetics. There is a little bit of price difference, obviously, because it is a little bit larger, but both of the units are going to be a 1/4 thick inch solid brass, not your plastic wall plates. In addition to that, they will also have their back boxes included. The DP series or larger series will ship with a surface mount box so that you can mount it on brick or stone, and alternatively have the option to flush mount it as well. If you're looking to have a single gang flush mount installation at a little bit lower cost, the IU single gang series will ship with a Rayco 8660 back box included in your purchase. Now, we talked about plain old telephones, but in the event that you do have a Panasonic KSU, another unique feature about the Channel Vision series is that you can also use our high-end residential intercom for this application as well. Here you're going to have a 1/4 thick inch solid brass versus the traditional plastic Panasonic plate. You're going to have more options in your color styles. You're going to have additional size options, and as an added bonus, you'll have the ability to add a camera into your system. This is a really nice feature that a lot of our customers take advantage of, and certainly something that you should look at when integrating with your customer system so that you can provide them caller ID at the front door. The biggest detail is that when you're working with the Panasonic KSU model, simply just make sure that the part number ends in a P. And we'll take a closer look at the part numbers because this is where some people get confused. So you may think, what color do I need? There's so many options, Troy. What do I do? Well, inside the Channel Vision application guide, which you can find on channelvision.com, you will be able to see the model numbers at a glance. Breaking down the model numbers, you'll see it begins with the size, DP or IU or DS3, which we'll talk about in a little bit, will determine the size of your station. A 0 or a 6 will indicate a color camera or no color camera. The next 3 digits will indicate the color that you so choose. And all 8 colors will be available for both sizes. And then you can end by using it with the P0920, with a Panasonic KSU system, or with Channel Vision's Cat 5 intercom. all the options exist for you. Now, I mentioned that you can add a camera in there. So what kind of camera gets put in this little door station? I'm talking about our 6403 camera. This is a 540 TV line camera that's going to offer you a 5.5 millimeter lens and is going to use traditional analog video connections. And this is the camera that will be included when you order your door station if you add that feature. Once your camera is installed, you can feed it to your DVR, to your home automation system, or however you so choose to distribute it. When you have your camera installed, it's virtually undetectable. It's just going to mount between the slots on your intercom system. Just a little knockout right here on the screen. Virtually undetectable. As I mentioned, when you're using a camera system, you do have to consider using additional wire. We've discussed so far that we only need 2 wires or 2 conductors to integrate with the intercom portion of it. Alternatively, if you do add a camera, since it is an analog video connection, you still need 18.2 for power and traditional RG59 or RG6 to deliver that video. They will not travel over the same conductors and will be an additional wiring application for your specific instance here. So when you're mounting the camera inside the door station, you can simply use a screw-down terminal because you have a basic bracket that's included with the camera already. Here you'll be able to have the camera installed, mounted behind the door station. And it's going to give you a minor adjustments. You'll be able to slide it up and down for height, in addition to give you a little bit of swivel left to right. Now, however, remember there are grills there which may prohibit you from getting a wide angle turning to the right or to the left. Now, as I mentioned, it's just an analog video connection using a 12 volt DC pin connector and a standard analog video output. So if you're thinking that your camera might not get the specific area of coverage, we have a few different other options which you can integrate with the system as a supplemental camera or an alternative option for you. These are 2 of our more popular stations that are used at the front door. And here you'll find a 1.3 megapixel camera that mounts into a 2-gang low voltage box. It'll be available in white and black. The camera can be powered over PoE and have a variety of different compression methods. Alternatively, you can also use our single-gang analog camera option, which will fit into a single-gang box and have a variety of different colors to match your hardware. Both of these options exist in addition to some of the other dome options that Channel Vision offers. We just wanted to make sure that you had some applications in which you can use either or depending on your customer's site survey. Moving back to the P0920, there's a couple additional things to take a look at here. You're looking at your status LED indicators. So this comes to the point where you're doing the installation portion of it and you want to check some functionality on what you're working with here. So taking a closer look at the LEDs, you'll have your ring light, which is going to flash when the phone is ringing. So if you were looking at the P0920 testing everything to make sure it works, this is when it'll be relevant for you during troubleshooting and setup. You'll have your power light, obviously, to ensure that your 12-volt AC is connected properly. Your strike active light will be activated when using our TE110DS, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. Your intercom active light will be on when the intercom is in use. So you'll be able to see if everybody has communication and if everything's working properly. Taking a closer look at the setup portion of it, these are those dip switches that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. You'll see that it's a fairly easy setup here. You have your choice of 6 configurations. You have, but it's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. Your first set of switches will define if you're going to use pound or star commands. This is for the feature inside of your house. When you're answering the phone inside, you can connect to the intercom by pressing pound pound, or open the door by hitting pound star, or whatever configuration you have defined. Your second switch is your CO setting. This will be a setting that's used if you have a central office on, such as an active phone line, or if you're using a voice over IP service and you do not have an active phone line. this is the switch that will have to be set. Simply flip the switch if you desire to have a 3 or 5 ring cycle, to have it go ring, 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 or ring, 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 ring. Yeah, please don't ask me to do that again. Sound effects are not my specialty. But the last 3 dip switches here are what you're going to use to configure your door strike relay duration. This is where we talked about you have your door open for 3 seconds all the way up to 4 minutes, depending on the configuration of those 3 switches. Now, if you are going to have the door strike relay feature added on it, you should consider adding the TE110DS, which is an actual door strike relay. We do not actually sell strikes themselves. However, the relay is a very important part of integrating with your telephone entry controller. So in this application, you'll be able to have your door strike relay installed. You'll be able to activate it from any phone inside the house by pressing star or #7 to activate the door strike. You can also manually activate it via a dry contact closure, but like I mentioned, it does require a third-party door strike mechanism using a normally open contact closure. The good news is that it can be installed anywhere between the intercom and the main board. So anywhere between your front door station and the P0920, you can put the TE110DS. As same thing, be able to configure it up to 4 minutes and can withstand up to 10 amps of current from your door strike. So if you're using this in an application, we'll have our traditional setup just like we showed earlier, where we're using 18.2 from our intercom to our controller out to our phone distribution block. If we're going to add the TE110DS and able to open a door, simply put it anywhere in line between the intercom and the controller. And this will provide you the ability to open the door using the star or pound commands on your phone. Taking a closer look at how that wiring looks of the TE110DS, it looks a little something like this. You'll see that those same 2 wires go to the house terminal and then out to your intercom. It's just a little relay loop. And then you'll be able to connect the power supply from your door strike as well as the door strike mechanism itself directly to the relay, and this will provide the communication between the controller and your door strike. Alternatively, I mentioned earlier that you also have an unlock button for a manual door strike. This is a very popular feature that a lot of our customers can take advantage of, and here's how you would use it. In this application, you want to think of it as the exit button or the push to enter button. This is something that you can see installed at a jewelry store, a residential home, a gas station, all of those similar type of applications where you just push the button under and then quote-unquote buzz somebody in. This is the feature that you would use for that, and it'll work with any normally open push button release. And when activating the push button release, it's not going to ring the phones in the house. So again, this is a manual release feature, so there's no need to ring the phones inside the house. However, it will still activate the door strike relay. Another very unique feature that we included with the P0920 is the ability to keep your doorbell option here. This is your chime output that we're looking at here, and this will allow you to add an additional doorbell, transformer, and chime so that you can have it play La Cucaracha or whatever fancy doorbell sound you wanted to add when somebody presses a button at the doorbell. Now, for my automation friends out there, there's a handful of other applications in which where you can use this portion of the P0920. So let's take the example of a Control 4 system. Many of our many of these applications are done in residential applications, and you can see it's a high-end installation, so it's a beautiful addition to any home automation system. Now, you're still going to do everything the same that we've discussed so far. You're going to have your 2 wires connected to your intercom, to the controller, and your camera in this application is connected to one of our web camera servers, because that was an analog camera that we're going to connect to our web camera server, and now that your server is connected to the network, it has essentially made the IP, made the camera that's inside of your door station an IP camera. From your P0920 controller, using that chime contact relay to send to your Control 4 processor can now create an event. So now when somebody presses a button at the front door, it will pop up the video automatically on the touchscreen and create an event providing your customer caller ID for the front door. Now, there's other manufacturers that make some of these things, and even some of the home automation partners make their own. So what makes ours special? Well, it allows you to integrate with any of the touchscreen models. Doesn't matter if you have the fancy, expensive series, you'll be able to integrate it with any of the touchscreen systems, including iPads. It's going to be a simple contact closer. It's just a relay. There's nothing too complicated. Most of the stuff that you guys do is far more complicated than what this does already. We do have free drivers available from Extra Vegetables, a programming company for Control 4, so that you can get that camera stream directly onto your touch panel. And even if you combine the cost of all of these things that we just looked at here, you're still going to have a less expensive, more versatile system, and you're going to have a variety of different options when it comes to integrating your colors and making things stand out. Great opportunity for you guys who are already doing automation for a quick little additional add-on without expenditure of a lot of money, because this will make the installation incredibly easy. Now, in the event that your customer has a larger system, maybe a gate in a front door or two doors, front door and back door, we also have a two-door entry system for you. I'm not going to go into great detail on this because we've designed this to be very similar to the P0920 that we just went through, with a couple additional features. One of the main differences here is that you are still going to have the ability to control two doors separately, independently of the other. Same applications, no paging, no active phones are going to be necessary, but you also have the ability to add a page out feature in the P0920. Yes, I said that. There's a page out feature built into the P0920 so that you can use the customer's internal phones as a paging microphone and pipe that into your distributed audio system to utilize it as a paging system throughout the home. Just another application that's built into here. A lot of the other features are going to be the same, with the exception of this unit having an auxiliary port built into it, which you can utilize as a door strike relay being built into the system without the need to purchase any additional units. So for a little bit extra, you'll have a handful of additional features: 2 doors, expansion up to 4 doors, plus the page out feature, plus the auxiliary port, which you can use for a strike relay. Great opportunity in case your customer is looking to expand down the road, or like I mentioned earlier, they do have a gate application plus a front door, or a front door and a back door. Both applications will be suited for this product. Now, when you're setting it up, again, there's nothing too complicated. You're just running 18.2 twice. So obviously 1 to each door. And then that's our 2-door entry system. Now, I mentioned a third option for you when it comes to your door stations, and this is one of our new DS3 series intercoms. What's unique about this system here is that it's going to fit into a 3-gang box, so there's no proprietary holes required. It will give you the ability to have up to 8 users. So now you can give the cleaning lady her own password, the babysitter her own password, or make sure the kids never lose the house key again. In addition to that, it does utilize a built-in strike relay feature, which we'll talk about a little more in a second, and it's tamper-proof. It's not something that you can just have somebody take off the wall, short the wires together, and break into your house. It's slightly more complicated than that. It is going to be a rust-proof faceplate with a microphone and everything built into it, and it's going to be available in many different finishes, specifically 4 of the 8 finishes that we looked at earlier. So if you were taking a look at how this looks, oh my goodness, this looks complicated. but it's really not. So we're still using the same application of using the 2 wires from the front door to our telephone entry controller. As you can see here, we're utilizing, just like we were earlier, the 2 wires to our telephone entry door strike relay, where we have our door strike connected and then back to the main controller. The additional thing that we have added with this unit is you're using the AP55 contact closure, which is included with the unit right here, to function as a manual strike release. So let me take a closer look at that relay, and you'll be able to see how that integrates. Looking at the back of the unit, you'll have your tamper spring on the back so it can't be affected, and you'll see here that the additional relay that's included has all the features that you're going to need, including normally open contact closures and normally closed contact closures, as well as an opportunity to integrate with an alarm system so that you can disable your alarm or remove the trigger portion of it. Now, as we were showing on the previous slide, the controller, the relay here, will be connected to the push button release that we talked about earlier. So now when the customer comes to their home, enters their 4-digit code, it will manually open the strike and will not ring the phones in the house because, well, that's what it is. It's a manual entry point and provides the homeowner great opportunity to get in without having to fumble for those keys in their purse, so on and so forth. Now, when you're out in the field, if you ever have any trouble, there's always somebody to call. Channel Vision's here, 24/7 tech support is always on staff to help you. If you're out in the field, maybe you get out there earlier before we're open, you're working a little later than we are, or you're a weekend warrior, we'll be here to help you throughout any of the applications. Just to give you a quick little option in case you're in the field, you hearing any static or any screeching or anything like that, there is a little white potentiometer, aka miniature volume control, in the back of the telephone entry controller itself, in which you can manually adjust so that you can fine-tune some of the audio to an extent. If you're having trouble communicating with the door, you can't talk at all, a few things that you can check, obviously starting from step A, are you having the right terminals connected? Are they screwed down properly? And also bring yourself an extra test phone with you in the event that you're integrating with somebody's plain old telephone that for some reason has a non-compatible phone system. You'll be able to make sure that you have everything properly installed without wasting too much time by hooking up your little butt set and making sure everything works properly. But again, anytime you're having a problem in the field, give us a call and we'll make sure you get taken care of. So telephone entry in a nutshell has a variety of different applications. You can see here that we can use it on a plethora of residential applications. And again, we also have a handful of commercial applications in which you can use this as well, whether it be a jewelry store, grocery store, small duplex. There's a variety of different ways you can do this. Now, before we transition to our whole house intercom, I want to show you a magic trick. So we talked about a lot of stuff. So how do I know which is the right one for what I'm going to need? Well, if you look at Channel Vision's application guide, we have added what's called our Systems at a Glance page, which gives you a few qualifying questions for you to ask, which will point you to the right place. If you're looking for an oversized intercom, what size are you looking for? Oversized? Well, you'll know at a glance that the DP series will have a oversized proprietary box, or you can go with the single gang or 3-gang solution. Simply by using these qualifying questions will ensure that you end up with the right product so that you can get to the job and have it finished completely on time without having to have any troubleshooting go-backs or anything of that nature. And all of this can be found in Channel Vision's application guide, which is available on channelvision.com. Now, with that being said, I'm going to take a look at some of our question boards, so just bear with me for a second, and we'll see if we can address any questions we haven't talked about yet. One question here is, can I use this with a business phone system? I'm assuming we're going to be talking about an IP-based phone system, and the technical answer is it depends. which is one of my usual sales answers. However, what I mean by that is it depends on the phone system. We do have some applications in which we can use our P0920 that we were looking at earlier with an IP-based phone system using that no CO mode that we were talking about. But in the application of using a business phone, one thing that will be required is that your customer does have an unused analog line connected to that phone system, which many of those advanced phone systems do as well. In the event that Buzz Lightyear is at your door, tell him that you are now at Star Command. That's our friend Gordon having a little laugh. Here's a question regarding, is there a specific brand of lock that we should be looking at? The technical answer is no. We should be able to integrate with any of the door strike relays, assuming you're using a normally open contact closure. In the event that you picked up a mag lock, which tends to be a normally closed contact closure, you may have to get a relay inverter. Here's another good question. In the event that somebody knocks or that you see somebody approaching the front door without initiating the doorbell, can you still connect to the door station? The answer is yes. By using the connections that we talked about earlier on the phone, the star or pound command, you do have the ability to press that command twice and automatically be connected to your front door. One question regarding the phone systems, will this work with any other phone system besides Panasonic? The technical answer is, from the manufacturer, is no. However, some customers have utilized this with some other phone systems, such as the NEC series phone system. That's a little more advanced application, and it's a little more difficult for us to help you, but yes, it has been done. Another question regarding the video camera portion of it, can we use a balun to transmit that video? Absolutely. Like I mentioned, it is just an analog video camera, and will get there however you deem it necessary. Here's a good question from one of our friends. What is the distance that's supported between the intercom and the P0920 or 921? You can run this up to 1,000 feet away. So again, we're just using two conductors. In the event that you do run a longer distance, it is encouraged that you do use shielded cable, and certainly have a handful of different options when it comes to that application. Here's a good question. Can you add a different doorbell button, like a lit doorbell, for example? The answer to that is no, because what essentially you're doing with that doorbell relay is creating a contact closure, and in the event that you're using a lit doorbell button, it can add voltage, which can cause the phone to ring unknowingly or without being depressed. So do not add your own lit doorbell button with this. And that looks like there's a handful of other questions which we might get to in a little bit. So I think we've addressed a good majority of them now. I'll have another section available for questions in which I will try to answer some more of these questions. In the event that we don't, we will have a recap afterwards, which we'll be able to send out for you guys as well. So continue to type your questions in there if you do have them, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. But I do want to make sure that our other friends get some of this stuff on here too, because I promised I wouldn't keep you too long. We're going to transition now to our Cat5 intercom system. This is a fairly quick training portion of the segment here. This is a fairly easy intercom to use, and is going to offer you a great low-cost solution to offer your customers some of that room-to-room communication that you're looking for. So when we're talking about intercoms, just some more ways that you can present it from the room-to-room standpoint is it gives you the opportunity to listen to the baby in the nursery. You can call Johnny down for dinner without having to yell up the stairs, and also will give you the ability to call any room in the house directly without having to do an all-page system. That's one of the unique features about our Cat 5 intercom series. And you can still connect to the front door automatically using that high-end looking door station that we were looking at a little bit earlier. Taking a look at the main controller here, we're talking about the P0930. Now, this unit right here is our Cat 5 Intercom hub here, and you can see that it will support up to 6 intercom stations directly and offer direct room-to-room communication for all 6 of those rooms. In addition to that, you're going to have some monitor modes, some privacy modes, DND modes, as well as a built-in IR repeating system, which we'll look at a little more later. The ability to integrate with a whole house paging system, add additional door integration, and expand the system beyond the 6 stations all the way up to 24 stations should you choose. Taking a look at the Cat 5 intercom itself, taking a look at a little anatomy, you'll see here we have the main hub switch, with a 110 punch down option for you, which will be how you're going to connect all of your Cat 5 home runs for each of your door stations. And all you're going to have to do is punch those wires down using 568A standard, and you'll be good. The link input and output are features for the event that you're going to expand the system beyond the traditional 6 doors. And you also have power required for these units, as do most electronics. And here is your 12-volt paging trigger along with your page audio out to go into the rest of your system. I also mentioned that we have a 3.5 millimeter IR emitter port built into it so that you can utilize the the room station as an IR relay infrastructure without adding any additional wires. So you can connect up to 6 stations, as we discussed earlier. These are all Cat 5 home runs, and they do need to be run all the way back to the main controller. No daisy chaining allowed. In the event that you do expand the system, you can add our system expansion button here. What this is going to do for you is give you 6 additional zones, make it super easy to customize it, easy to install, easy to upgrade with no additional drywall cutting. You can see here that the main station is just going to fit into a 2-gang mud ring. So it's essentially a surface mount station with a incredibly easy use to install, and if you're going to expand it, all you have to do is slide that expansion button next to it and give you a whole additional set of room-to-room communication for 6 additional rooms. The intercom station itself does boast a handful of different features. On the 2000 series, which is what we're looking at here, you will have a page feature, a DND, answer, monitor, and volume adjustment, station-to-station calling. You name it, this system can more or less do it. So taking a quick look at what all those features look like individually, by activating the page button, this is going to be an all page, calling all stations. And once this is activated, the good news is, no matter what station you answer it from, it will automatically connect to the station that initiated the page. I mentioned that it does have a page trigger and page out on it. So in the event that you're going to add this as a feature, you should add your paging intercom system, and you will need, of course, an amplifier. So pressing page out will provide you to export the mono audio into your paging amplifier, combined with your trigger, can be fed to your audio system and be heard over the loudspeakers in the house, as opposed to the intercom stations themselves. Because obviously the intercom station is a very small speaker, and you'll get much better sound out of a standard high-performance speaker. The Do Not Disturb mode is available in 2 different features here. We have the press once and ring, which means you're on D&D, but you don't want to be bothered, but if you really need me, you can call me, and then it'll ring, letting you know that somebody's trying to contact you, and then you can connect to them directly. Alternatively, we also have the true D&D, which is a beep back saying, do not bother me, I'm sleeping, the baby's sleeping, I'm trying to get some work done, leave me alone. The monitor mode is what you'd be using with a baby or even an elderly person in this application. We've done a handful of these for retirement homes and a couple different applications similar to that. Here you just hold the monitor mode for 2 seconds in this room that you want to monitor, and then go to the station that you want to listen from and simply connect. Then the LED will turn green and you will be good to go to hear what's going on in the room that you want to monitor. The answer talk feature is probably the main button that you're going to be using here. You will have the ability to answer this button by calling your next station. You'll be able to hold this button down to open the door strike relay, and this will be how you talk and end the conversations when you're doing your room-to-room communication. As I mentioned earlier, we do have an IR receiver built into the unit as well. Why on earth would I have an IR receiver built into my intercom station? And there's 2 options for it, really. One is in the event that you are trying to control equipment in your basement, for example, you can utilize this as your IR receiver and then use the existing wire that you already have run as a relay so that you can control the equipment that's down in the basement where the hub is located. Alternatively, you can also use the remote control that's with this station, because we actually sell a remote control which you could use with it, so that you can enter a number to call a different room, or you can press the page button on the remote control and activate the paging system, and then you can yell from the couch for your wife to bring you another beer. However, if she doesn't bring you a beer, it may not be due to the system malfunction and to the fact that you're paging your wife to bring you a beer. But nonetheless, both those applications can be used as a feature, as a bonus feature, if you will, to the intercom series. Using this system, you can use either of the door stations and all the different options that we looked about. The only thing that's going to be different between the 2 is going to be the size. However, remember we talked about earlier making sure that it ends in a C. This is what denotes that it works with our Cat5 intercom, and if you do not have it ending with a C, it will not work with the Cat5 intercom. Disclaimer there. As I mentioned, using that link feature in the event that you're going to expand them to additional stations, do make sure they're close enough together, because that little link cable is not too long, but that will allow you to expand the system all the way up to 4 hub stations, so that you can have a total of 24 room stations. So in a nutshell, there's a lot of stuff that we went through over here today. We talked about some room-to-room communication options using the ST series intercom. We also talked about our telephone entry options, both with the economy option, the 1-door and the 2-door. We talked about how you can use the single-door entry system with any phone system, including voice over IP, and some ways that you can integrate it with your home automation systems. We gave you a handful of different options when it came to your intercom station, giving you a total option of 152 different choices. So I will disclaimer that some of your distributors may not have this product in stock because there obviously are a variety of different options that you can do. However, I can tell you that we do have a handful of popular colors. Appears to be oil rub bronze is the most popular color of these recent years. In addition to that, I mentioned earlier that you can call us anytime. We're available here for 24/7 technical support in the event that there's anything that you need. We do offer free training, so hopefully nobody charged you to come here today. We do have free design service if you need help laying out a system, whether it be a telephone entry intercom system all the way out to a full-blown enclosure audio system or video surveillance options. And we'll do anything you really need. Bottom line, Channel Vision's a smaller manufacturer. We're a little more agile. We care about our customers. And if there's anything that you guys need, let us know. With that being said, I'm going to take a look at a couple additional questions to make sure we covered at least the majority of them here. Here's a question that I did not address. Will it ring my cell phone in regards to the telephone entry product? The technical answer to that is not today. That will be a feature that's included in some of the advanced features down the line. However, It does not ring your cell phone today. However, if you do have the analog phone line in the house, you will have access to everything that you need. Regarding this presentation should be available shortly on channelvision.com on our YouTube channel and our recorded web trainings. So certainly some options for you right there. That pricing, I'll leave up to your local distributor. You can call us for suggested pricing. I can tell you that both of these options are incredibly economical when it comes to any of your other options, whether you're using the economy module with an active phone line. If you're using the advanced feature, you're still going to save some money. And if you're looking for a room-to-room intercom, you won't find too many intercoms with my price point matching my feature set. So a handful of different options there for you as well. And I think there's a handful of other questions we may not have addressed, but certainly understand that you guys do have some things to get on with. So if we did not address your question, we will do that separately afterwards. And speaking of afterwards, we do have a survey which you guys may receive. Please complete that. Give us some feedback, whether you liked the presentation, you didn't like the presentation, some things that you'd like to see. Because like I said, we're here after 20 years solely based on your feedback and what we can do to make ourselves better. So if you guys do have any additional questions, feel free to give us a call. Download Channel Vision's latest application guide. Take a look at the new website. A lot of new stuff going on. In the event that you wanted to try one of these out for yourself, we can provide you with a discount for a one-time purchase. You can call us here directly and speak with your regional sales manager. And you can always give us a call at the number on the screen, or you can find us online at channelvision.com. I do, again, want to appreciate your guys' time. I know that your time is valuable. It took us a little over our 45-minute mark, but I think hopefully everything was useful for you guys. Please give us a call if you have any additional questions, and thank you for spending some time with us today. Thank you, and make it a great day.